Commissioners, our next work session item is bringing awareness to students, or BATS. And with us is the BATS adult ally, Beth Dixon, and a host of students that are participating in the program. So, Beth, I'm not sure the best way that you want to do it. If you want to come to one of these mics, if you want to come down and have the students each come down so they can say, talk about the program. And when you get situated, if you want to tell us your name.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Cunningham. I am the president of BATS. I'm a senior. I'm from the Miami Valley School. And so what BATS is, like you said, bringing awareness to students. We are a youth-led group with about 50 members, ranging like 10 different schools in the region. And we focus on substance use prevention and mental health awareness. And so we are here today as our policy group, and we are all representatives of BATS. And we're really passionate about policy, and we recently went to the State House to talk to representatives and senators about House Bill 172, and so that's what we're going to talk about today, and we hope that you just listen with an open mind and hear what we have to say. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Emerson Babian. I'm a junior at Springfield High School and the vice president of BATS. I'd like to start by just introducing what House Bill 172 is. So currently, students, high schoolers, middle schoolers, if they're in danger of harming themselves because of a mental health crisis, they can currently receive up to 6 sessions of mental health services or 30 days before needing parental consent. House Bill 172, if it were to pass, would eliminate this access to mental health resources without parental consent, and would require every student in every situation to get that parental consent before being able to access those mental health resources. So as the policy group, what we do is we research policies and we introduce them to our larger BATS group, which, like Mary said, it encompasses a wide variety of experiences, backgrounds, and culture. And so about 2 months ago, we introduced House Bill 172 to our larger group. And I just want to talk about the 3 main points that our group found to be important with this bill. First, we think that this bill is an obstacle rather than something that would help a student receive mental health access. And we'd like to preface that by saying mental health access should be a priority for students, especially because in this case, mental health resources would only be available for students if they are in danger of harming themselves and others, and that is an emergency situation. Requiring a student to go to a parent that may be hard to reach or unavailable before acquiring that care is an obstacle that could cause harm to the student and to those surrounding the student. The second point that we found was that the bill doesn't address all students in all situations. It's not inclusive to the entire youth population of Ohio. Many students face problems with abusive parents, neglectful or negligent parents, or parents that aren't up to the standards or aware of the standards of our mental health resources. A student that has to go through a parent that may be uninformed or not able to understand the importance of mental health resources would greatly would create a barrier between that student and the resources that they need. And finally, we like to address a main point that proponents of the bill make. The proponents' main purpose for the bill is to create stronger bonds within the family and to create a more trustworthy household. We think that this approach towards that goal is backwards. Trying to create a trustworthy bond by forcing a student to talk to a parent that may not have made the effort to create that trustworthiness is not how you create a strong household. Instead, we would advocate for programs and resources that are available to parents and students at an earlier step in that relationship building that would allow a parent to create a strong bond to a student, that would create a trustworthiness that would allow a student, that would encourage a student, but not force a student to talk to their parents about their mental health issues. So with that, I'd like to pass it on to Said to talk about some of his experiences.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Thank you all so much for this opportunity to speak today. My name is Usaid Ashraf, and I'm a junior attending Springfield High School. So as Mary already touched on, us as a mental health task force policy group went to the State House to talk about House Bill 172. We discussed with senators about how this bill is harmful for students who want access to mental health resources. And I'd just like to share a few things about some of the points that I talked about at the State House, as mental health is one of the biggest issues that society as a whole faces right now. So it's really important that we bring awareness to this problem. So House Bill 172, as Emerson described, is a bill that requires parental consent at almost every step of the way for a student's mental health. Now, on paper, it sounds like a good idea. It sounds like a place where students and their parents can just get together and talk and open up about mental health struggles. But in reality, this is not the case. So many students across the state of Ohio are in situations where they don't have an environment or a home to go to where they can seek guidance. They don't have parents where they can go to open up about mental health struggles. And that's the whole problem that we have as a group with House Bill 172. Now at the State House, I talked a little bit about a personal story from Springfield High School. There was a boy at Springfield High School in my grade. He was caught in possession with a vape at the school, and he was sent down to the office by one of the security members. Now, the boy's mom was already waiting for him in the office, and instead of replying with worry for the kid or concerned about the kid's mental health, the mom just replied with, "I told you not to bring that to school today." Now, this moment meant everything to me. It showed me that it wasn't just the vape that was the problem. It was the fact that the adult responsible for that student's life and that student's mental health wasn't making changes for the student, wasn't helping him to better his mental health. And this isn't just the case of one boy at Springfield High School. It's the case of thousands of students all across the state of Ohio. They're dealing with issues just like this. And it's not just because they're trying to fit in by using vapes. It's not because they're trying to look cool in front of their friends by using painkillers. They're experiencing these bad influences, possibly from our parents. And I know it's a taboo subject and something that we don't like to admit as a society. But a lot of the times when a parent has bad influence or bad actions upon a kid, it causes mental health problems. And you can't expect that kid to turn around and ask their parents for mental health help and guidance when their parents are a bad influence on them. So thank you all so much for the opportunity to speak today, and I'd like to pass it on to Anya.
Hello, my name is Anya Amir, and I am a 9th grader attending Springfield High. So, House Bill 172, the main goal is to promote parental involvement in the public school system. Now, this bill was made solely for the idea and the hope of helping parents be more involved in the system. This bill was not created for the youth. This bill was not considering the barriers, the problems that youth would face in result of this bill, as this bill is creating a literal barrier to receive mental health resources that can be important, and especially in emergency situations. So this bill, it is trying to limit students in order to accept these resources. And while people might see this bill as a really good thing, unfortunately, when you take it down to the daily life of a civilian, it actually does not have any good, it cannot be the best thing for them. As many students would definitely need these resources, as YRBS data has shown that 50% of middle school students do not have a trusted adult. and 40% of high school students do not have a trusted adult. So this demonstrates that there is a definite need of these mental health services, but when we are instituting barriers for them to receive it, unfortunately, they will look through other ways to receive that care. So like you said, I too also have personal stories at Springfield High School where many a time I will see a student complaining of having a hard time at home or just having a hard day in general. Now, another student will offer them a vape. Now, the problem is not just the vape, it's what they think behind the vape. They view the vape as a solution to the problem because they may have seen their parents, they may have seen other people use it, and because of these barriers, they might not be able to receive the proper care. And so they'll often resort to such drastic measures to treat these issues they may have because of these. So we need to think about if we're going to make resources harder to obtain, then they're not going to just stop having the problems. They're going to look through other more harmful ways to do it to help cope with it, and then they're going to help try and have others do the same. So while this bill may have had good intentions, unfortunately, it's just not going to play out in the way we want it. And I think that we need to further either stop the bill completely or just find better ways to make it more accessible to the day-to-day life of every student. So I like to pass it down to Jeff.
Hello. Okay, good evening. My name is Jack Hill. Thank you guys all for having us here. So I sort of just want to begin by piggybacking off of something that Emerson said, which was that students aren't necessarily always going to have the proper parents with the proper knowledge to be able to address mental health issues. Now, House Bill 172, as you guys have heard tonight, is proposing that students are required to get parental consent immediately in order to access mental health services within their schools. Now, this is problematic because, as Emerson stated, and as Usaid and Anya both stated, parents are not always going to be completely knowledgeable. They're not always going to be the best influences on students. They're not always going to be the most available, and no one household is the same. So students cannot always rely on their parents to be able to provide them with the mental health services that they need. One thing that I want to note that is extremely important, and I hope all of you take into consideration what Anya said, that 50% of middle school students feel like they don't have a trusted adult, and 40% of high school students feel like they don't have a trusted adult. That's terrifying. That students feel like they can't come out and talk about their mental health, and that students feel like they can't go to anybody about anything. That's a root problem, and that's what's going to continue to cause problems with mental health, not just here in Springfield, but in the entire state of Ohio. So what this bill is doing is it's going to sever this tie that any student who does have a connection with an adult or trusted adult in a school building, these ties are going to be severed. This relationship is going to be severed, and there's going to be a barrier between what students feel comfortable telling their trusted adults at school and what students feel comfortable saying at all. So I just hope that you guys will all take into consideration what this bill might do, not just for the students here in Springfield, but for students all around the state. And thank you. I'd like to pass it back to Mary Cunningham.
All right, I just want to say thank you again for allowing us this time to speak with you. We all know that you hear from a lot of people and they talk to you and they bring a lot of complex issues to you, but we just appreciate you listening to us today. And we ask that next time you talk to our representative, you just mention something about House Bill 172 and tell them vote no. And this is a learning experience for us, and so we just really appreciate the time to be able to advocate for ourselves, because that's not something that all youth have the privilege to do, and we're very privileged to be here today and speak in front of you. And so thank you for your time and the work that you do in the community, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Are you okay to take some comments and questions?
Yeah.
That sound all right? So can I be just transparent with you? This is probably something that I would be pretty resistant to, just going to be honest, until I heard your compelling argument. Until I really have to think that not every family is like my family. It would devastate me that one of my kids would seek mental health without me knowing, because I'm for mental health and I want them to be in counseling if they need it. But I know I'm abnormal when it comes to a lot of our students and their families that they encounter. So I appreciate you making this case. And like I said, normally I'd be sitting here pretty resistant to it, but as I continue to listen, it really changes my mind and how this needs to be approached, and not just a broad brush law that would cause all students not to be able to get the adequate care they need and have a listening ear, a professional ear that they can actually stop maybe harming themselves in one way. And also when you were talking about, like a peer would offer another peer a vape or whatever, a drug or whatever, it's, obviously it's not just that drug, but it's a connection with that person, an unhealthy connection with that person. I know I got a miseducator over here. She'll have a bunch of comments, but I don't see it daily. I don't see it, I know, but I don't see it daily like a lot of people do. But I do appreciate this, and I continue to speak well and speak your fight. I appreciate it. Other commissioners have comments?
Yeah, go ahead, Bridget.
Sure,
I'm dying.
I know
but go
you're,
ahead.
you're ready to go. I completely agree with Mayor Rue. At first, I was a little resistant to this as well, thinking I want to be involved in all of my children's care. However, you did make a really compelling case regarding the differences in just lifestyles and parenting that we see and why that's so important. And then I'd also just like to commend you for being here. At your age, you guys are all so impressive and you're incredible speakers. So thanks for being involved in this as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited for you guys. One, it takes so much nerve to come and speak in settings like this, and you guys have already done it at the State House. I can tell that you guys put a lot of effort in, and you're very knowledgeable about this topic. And as someone that was a teacher in Springfield City Schools that became a behavior specialist, shout out to Scott Dixon in the back for creating that role for our district, and then now a special education administrator. And most of the students that I work with and families that I work with every single day are the families that you guys are talking about. And there are oftentimes so much harm being done to students or young children in the home itself that it would be unreasonable to think that their parent would be okay with them going out and sharing this information about the harm that's being caused or the trauma that's constantly going on at home, right? I also want to make sure that you guys are aware of this is all a part of the backlash of wokeness, right? We want to make sure that parents have rights over their kids. So it's so much more complex than just thinking that, oh, we don't want our kids to go to school and be able to get mental health therapy because then it could lead to, God forbid, some other sort of medical procedure that maybe a parent would not be knowledgeable of. But those are two very vastly different things. And as Rob was saying, it's being swept together like it's under one big bill. So I cannot tell you guys how excited that I am that you have the understanding that you have and sharing that with our community. And I hope and I pray that your words will fall on the ears of community members to understand that these types of bills are not making America great again. It's not a part of all of those things. It is just a part of individuality and the complexities of each person, instead of just thinking of all of these things as somehow doing harm to the fabric of our America's system. So I appreciate you guys so very much.
Thank you. Dr. Estrop?
I'm a former American government teacher and now an elected official. And all of you have made my day, if not my week, and perhaps even my month, because you're demonstrating what this country is all about. You did your homework, you researched this topic, you debated among yourselves and discussed among yourselves this topic, and then you went beyond that to advocate both at the State House and now in front of us. And as Commissioner Brown pointed out, we know it's not easy for people to appear before us sometimes, but you did. And that's the heart of what makes our country great. People willing to do their homework, willing to talk about the issue at hand, research it, decide a position, and then advocate for it. All I wish for you is the very best, and continue to move forward and make this country great. Thank you all very, very much.
not a formal meeting yet.
Oh,
Also-
okay, good.
Just again, a thank you. I've got to attend some of your events, and I'm very impressed with the program. Thank you, Beth. Thank you guys for your positive leadership and influence you have in this community, not just with kids, but with adults. So I did want to ask, did you say how other folks can get involved or where we can get information where we want to support the BATS community?
Yeah, so a great way to get involved with BATS, we have a website called BATS Youth Led. If you search that up, it'll be the first website that pops up. Talks about who we are, who our sponsors are, what events we host. That's a great way because most of our events are for the public to enjoy and to experience. As far as with the bill in specific, a great way to research bills if people are interested in doing that is to search up General Assembly. That'll take you to a website where you can just type in House Bill 172 and it'll take you to all the sponsors of the bill, all of the language of the bill. It's really easy to look through it. And the best way to support is to support the our advocation in opposition of the bill is to contact your senators, your representatives, and to provide testimony. Like there was just a deadline for testimony today, so unfortunately that may not be a possibility. But of course, just communicating with anybody that you know to spread the word. So yeah.
Do the BATS have an event coming up this holiday season? Is there anything you want to?
Our next big event will be in the spring, which will be Premiere the Problem Positive. It's a film festival that we do in the State Theater. That will probably be our next big event. It's really awesome. Students sign up to create a film on some sort of issue that they're really passionate about, and then it's open to the community. But then also, like Emerson kind of just touched on, tomorrow, actually, these three gentlemen will be going to the State House again to be giving opposing testimony to House Bill 172. And it was very short notice in the past day. We wrote testimony to go tomorrow, so a round of applause for them for going and doing that tomorrow, and tell them good luck.
Amazing.
I do have one more comment. Beth, I would be remiss if I did not say thank you to you. The work and all of the things that you do to pour into every child in this county and beyond for all of those years. Just, if you know Beth Dixon, to know her is a blessing. You just never stop. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Hey, if we could ask you a favor, can we gather over here and get a picture with you and everyone? That'd be great. Thank you. And then we'll begin our formal meeting, which there is no applause during formal meetings, just informal. Thank you, Crystal.
Do we want to do an adjournment?
Yeah,
for
you want to
this?
adjourn the, let's go ahead and adjourn the work session. Is
We need a motion.
there a
So
motion
moved.
for that?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Clerk, call the roll.
Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
Dr. Estrop?
Yes.
Mrs. Houston?
Yes.
Mrs. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Rue?
Yes.